For the coast, one of the big things facing the Mississippi legislature this year will be approving economic development projects with money from the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund. 16 projects totaling $69 million have been picked for consideration by a committee, and lawmakers must decide which ones advance. Jamie Miller, CEO of the Gulf Coast Business Council, played a role in selecting the projects, and he's here to tell us what happens next. Good to see you, Jamie, and thanks for being with us.
Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Now, you had a lot in front of you. Here are the 16 that advanced right there, and we'll talk about a few. But generally speaking, what kind of criteria do you guys use to decide which projects to green light to this stage?
Yeah. Well, we refer to the legislation. The legislation outlines 14 priorities. So you take those 14 priorities, which talk about collaboration, regional impact, of course, jobs, revenue growth, capital investment. There's a broad list of things. So we start there. Then we try to apply our knowledge of the coast and the communities here in the region and try to see which of those projects will have the greatest long-term economic benefit.
Now, I'm just going to highlight just a few of the big ones down here. There's money for the airport, the Gulfport Biloxi International Airport, Long Beach Harbor, where people have been watching restoration go on there. Some money for Memorial Hospital, Pass Christian, downtown redevelopment, and USM Research Foundation on that Blue Accelerator.
Yeah.
And that is such a big part of the present and future of the coast, is this blue economy.
Yeah, innovation is mentioned in the legislation. USM's done a great job of their accelerator program, bringing in companies, startup tech companies from all over the globe, really, and then getting them settled here to try to set up shop here.
So how does the process work once it gets up in Jackson, and they're debated, they're looked at, they're given that stamp of approval? How does that work?
Well, we actually make recommendations to the Mississippi Development Authority, and so we've presented those to Bill Cork, the executive director. He then takes those and provides his own recommendations, or the agency's recommendations, to the legislature. He's done that. And then throughout the session, when we get toward the end of the session during the appropriations process, the coast delegation will start to more intently kind of focused on those list of priorities.
Now, the goal is to make sure the money is well spent. What kind of guarantees are there that the money that is allocated, that the projects are actually completed?
Yeah, that Lieutenant Governor came in June, and one of his criticisms was that there was over $100 million appropriated, but the projects had not started for a host of reasons. But ultimately, the Development Authority signs a grant agreement with these applicants. They are legally bound and obligated to complete the project as written in the agreement. What they are contemplating now is for projects that don't meet those requirements, is there a clawback function? Do they take that money away so that it can be applied to another project?
And finally, it's spread out over the lower 6 counties, which is the intent of the fund, and the importance of including all of South Mississippi.
The legislation would not have passed. I mean, you're counting votes, and at the time when it passed in the special session, I think it was necessary that the upper counties, Pearl River, Stone, and George, participate in getting the legislation where we had 75% of the fund coming to the coast, the lower 6 counties.